Hey plant people, thank you so much for stopping by. Today I thought it would be fun to do just kind of like a chill collection walkthrough. I've been really enjoying these videos recently with people kind of doing like end of growing season type updates and just walking through their collection and letting you see what is going on, what's new and noteworthy and cool and maybe not so cool, and just kind of like having a full funsy walkthrough update. And I thought we could do that because I have made a lot of changes recently. So not only have I gotten new plants, I have also gotten rid of a lot of plants that have just not been making me happy and not been like making me motivated to see them grow or to care for them or anything. And especially when you have as many plants as I do, which I have not recounted since my entire collection walkthrough, which I'll put that in the link in the description box just because I'm not going to be going into detail into every single plant. And while there have been a lot of changes that I've made recently in, getting rid of and getting new plants, there are the vast majority of my plants are talked about more in detail in that video. So I'll put it in the link in the description box if you're interested in that. However, my collection's changed a lot. So the ones that, I feel like especially a lot of us are kind of like going through the same thing right now. Going into winter, you don't want to make things harder on yourself. So just getting rid of the plants that you don't care about anymore. I'm definitely I'm a plant hoarder to an extent. And it's very hard for me to get rid of plants, even if I don't like them. Like, I feel like I'm envisioning the potential of what that plant could be. But there's a lot of circumstances where I'm just not willing to invest the effort to make it grow to its potential. Or like maybe it's just not the best plant and it may never look like what I want it to look like. So I'm thinking, if there are these plants that I have that may look okay in like 2 or 3 years and I hate it the entire time until then, like, why would I want to put myself through that? I could just, in the future, especially with the way plant prices fluctuate and stuff, you could definitely find that plant again for a reasonable price in the future. And if especially these are plants that are like $20 or $30, like, do I want to make myself annoyed for 2 to 3 years to get this plant to that point? Or do I just want to, in the future, maybe like find that plant as a really good specimen for like $20 or $30? Like, that just makes more sense to me. So anyways, I digress. There have been changes in my collection. A lot of the plants that I just don't like anymore, I've gotten rid of. And I have gotten quite a few new plants, some of which I have showed you already through unboxings or whatever. And some that I have not really mentioned, like in the past, however long since I've gotten them. So you will see probably a lot of those newer plants today since I've not really spoken about them previously. I've also done quite a bit of rearranging and I've gotten some new pots and plant stands and lights and things like that. So things look so much different in here, but I really genuinely believe they look so much better, especially since I've gotten rid of a lot of the plants that I've gotten tired looking at, especially, so we're just going to be going over like my main growing space today, which is technically it's my dining room, but my house it's an open concept. So like the kitchen and living room and dining room are kind of like one big area, but this is more of like the dining room area because that's where the best light is, even though I do have a lot of grow lights now. It's just kind of what works best for the plants at this point. Maybe in the future, I would definitely really like to have kind of like a dedicated plant room where it's not so like overwhelmed with plants in just like the regular living space of my house. But it's not that I dislike the way that this looks or anything. It's just it's kind of a lot. Even though it's really difficult for me to get rid of plants, I feel like the biggest struggle for me was just getting started. So if you're out there right now and you're really wanting to downsize a little bit and you feel like you just can't get rid of anything, that's exactly how I felt. The hardest part is literally just getting started. So what I did at the beginning was I just went through the plants that I didn't necessarily want to totally get rid of and I just took them down to like cuttings or wet sticks or whatever and got rid of the main plant. And that's like a very good like small thing you can do to start, because it's not like you're losing the plant forever or it's like totally gone. You have that option of restarting it if you want to. So it's kind of like just like a fail safe. Like if you really regret getting rid of the plant, like you still have those cuttings that you could restart the plant from. And I find that's like very effective if you like a plant but you hate the way that it's growing. Like just cut it back and start it over, or put it in a prop box somewhere so you have that option in the future if you want to revisit it. And then once you start on those small things, or like really getting rid of the plants that you just hate, that you're like, okay, yeah, I've been thinking about throwing this away for the last month, like just get rid of those plants. And once I got into the action of getting rid of them, it was so much easier to go through and just be like, you know what, I don't like this plant either, and I don't like this one. There were like so many. I probably got rid of like 40 plants at least, maybe more than that, honestly. And also, another good tip on getting started is just like consolidating plants. So if you have multiples of plants, or you have plants that are really similar and you're trying to eliminate like some of the actual like potted plants, when you combine them into one pot, it's like if you have two individual plants and you put them in one pot, technically you got rid of a plant, you know, because that pot is gone. So you only have one pot instead of two pots. So that's a 50% reduction, you know, like that's a good job. And then once you're kind of like actively downsizing and consolidating and getting rid of things, it's so much easier to just be like, okay, I don't like you. Like, I can repurchase this plant in the future. And that's another thing too. You can repurchase plants. Like, there are a lot of plants that I was keeping that are not like expensive, rare plants, and I've been unhappy with them for months and months and months, because I'm thinking, oh, this like picture of this like beautiful mature plant is in my head, and I have this like awful, scraggly, juvenile plant that will not size up no matter what I do. And I can repurchase that plant that's 10 times better looking for like $20 or $30. Like, just get rid of it. Like, just get rid of it. There is no sense in being unhappy with that plant for the next 2 years until it looks good. So just get rid of it. And in part, I've been extra motivated to kind of like make some changes and get rid of things and make things look better, just because of the seasonal changes. And I feel like this is another thing that we all kind of go through together. Like, we get very like, I don't want to say like nesty, but it kind of like is that. Like, I feel like kind of nesty. Like, you just want to, you know, get ready for fall and put up your cute fall decor and make things look nice and get everything cozy and comfortable for the upcoming like gloomy winter months when you're inside a lot, or a lot more than you may be. I'm an introvert and like a homebody, so I'm like here all the time. I'm in my house all the time anyways. But if you're not like that, if you've been having like a really fun summer where you've been traveling and like going crazy, you just feel kind of like you want to make your house really cozy and warm and inviting for the cool spooky season, you know? And it's been really fun. Like, I see we're all kind of like the people that I follow on YouTube and Instagram and stuff, we're all kind of going through the same thing where we're like, you know, getting cozy and putting up our cutesy decor, and we have our fireplace running and our pumpkin spice candle is out, which I have got a great pumpkin spice candle recommendation that I will show you later. Like, this is the best smelling pumpkin spice candle that you have ever smelled. It is amazing. It is not like artificial smelling at all. Like, it smells like a like fresh baked, like rich pumpkin spice smell. I've been talking for like probably way too long already. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into it, and I will put bookmarks if you want to skip me rambling for the first like 10 minutes of this video. So let's go. Okay guys, so if you have not already seen that tour video, this is kind of what my setup looks like. So this is my more dining room area, and that's where I've got the majority of my plants, because I've got a really big window right here, and I've got French doors right here, so the light is just the best over here. This is my living room. And you can see I've got this one window right here, which really that's like a bigger window. I just have half of it covered up. But we'll start in this area because I've only got a couple of plants that are hanging out over here. I have the majority of my plants over here. And this is my dog Vash. This is my big greyhound, and he is chilling on the sofa right now. He's very happy that I don't have my big like lights out for filming because he really hates those. This is where he's at like 95% of the time. Oh yeah, this is the candle. So I found this at TJ Maxx. Let me zoom in here. So I found this at TJ Maxx. This is literally the best smelling candle I've ever had in my entire life. So if y'all are looking for like a really good pumpkin spice candle, this is from Harvest Candle Craft Co. It says, and it's fragrance number 152, pumpkin spice. So that is 10 of 10. Recommend that if you're looking for a pumpkin spice candle. Yeah, so in this area, I really don't have very many plants. I have my Schismatoglottis Wallachii, and this is one of my all-time favorites. Like, she is just so easy to take care of. This is a south-facing window, so she gets, like, pretty good light right over here, and she is very, very thirsty. So just keep her watered if you have one of these. They'll get kind of droopy when they're wanting some more water. But other than that, she's been super easy other than being a threat magnet for some reason. And then this is my other dog, my dachshund, my old boy, my old man, Tark. That tongue, he's ridiculous. His tongue is like too long for his mouth, so it's always hanging out. Wow, beautiful. Anywho. And then up here, I have got, I don't know the scientific name for this one. I'll put it on the screen. But this is a golden orchid cactus. And this looks amazing here. Like, I love this thing so much. You can't really tell. It looks really small on camera right now, but it's like, it's pretty big, you know, like, and also excuse the backlight. But she just looks so cute hanging in this window with those long, like, tendrils. Just absolutely gorgeous. And I like having like things not being too busy over here with the plants, because I have so much going on back there, which we will get to. But yeah, so I've got her hanging in the window, looks super cute. And then this one, and then I have got in this area, this is my philodendron Florida green. And it gets like hardly any light over here, honestly, which is why that new leaf looks like it's going to be pretty small. But I'm not overly concerned with this one because it honestly like pretty much thrives in any condition. Like, it's still doing fine, even though it doesn't get the most light over here. So that is that. And then we are on to my dining room area. Of course, we've got my giant Monstera deliciosa green form. And she's so funny because she's got these giant leaves at the top. This thing's like 9 feet tall at this point. But they don't have the inner fenestrations on that newest leaf, even though it's the biggest one, which is, I don't know how that works, honestly, but it still looks good. Like, she's still large and in charge over there. And then I've got my dining table plants. These are my variegated bird's nest anthurium. This is the one that I did in that unboxing that had super terrible root rot, and she seems to be doing really good. Like, her leaves feel very like perky and firm, and she's very thirsty. We have what may be the start of a new leaf coming in right here, so we will hope for that. And then, oh yeah, that was an anthurium water dragon variegated, and it doesn't have like super, like, its variegation is a little bit more like a subtle aurea type variegation. And then my anthurium Plowmanii Superstar is what this was sold to me as, and it's kind of like a minty variegated. That new leaf is absolutely gorgeous. Anthurium Hookeri, and this is the variegated version. I'm really glad. This is a good update. So these leaves, when they come out, it is like really light, and I liked this darker variegation of these younger leaves. And I was kind of like distressed because I didn't want like another variegation that looks kind of like light and minty like that. And they actually harden off to a much darker variegation. So I think that that is really beautiful, and I'm really happy that that has happened. Yeah, and then we've got over here, I put this little grow light right here for my Alocasia regal shields because she was getting almost no light at all. And it was like kind of in my head that I needed to put a grow light here at some point. And I've gotten some new grow lights, some of the Scentsy grow lights, which I'm going to talk about in a different video. But I've got some like here and back there, and they are very, very strong. So I was able to move this kind of like cheaper one that's not as strong over here for now. And I may upgrade that one later, but I mean, like nothing's worse than what it was before. Like you got literally no light. And then I've got this anthurium over here. Cannot remember what this is. This is Magnificum crossed with a no ID called Raspberry. And this one is like not happy with me no matter what I do. So I've just recently moved it over here, and I thought that maybe the lower light would be beneficial for her. So we'll see. And then we've got this little table. So this is like an area that I did. Let me turn this light off because I feel like that is like way too bright. You can't see anything. But this is an area that I kind of like moved a lot of stuff around, and I got some new pots. So I did go to TJ Maxx. As I mentioned, I wanted to pick up that like a candle, like a, you know, like fall candle, and some stuff like a kind of like an autumn themed wreath for my door because I put some pumpkins and like fall decor outside. And they had the cutest pots, and they are so cheap in comparison to everywhere else, like Home Depot and stuff, where pots are just like ridiculously expensive for almost nothing. They have, especially like, I'm not a solid white pot, like you don't have to, it does not have to be a solid white pot, but I do like neutrals. So they had such a good selection of neutrals. This one's really cute, but I got this on clearance at Lowe's. This is one of the ones that I got from TJ Maxx. I feel like all of these were like between $10 and $15. And this is a really big one. And I got this one, which kind of has like this floral, like raised floral pattern on it. And it does have feet like this one has. So that one is super cute. This one I got at Walmart ages ago. But this is another one that I got there at TJ Maxx. This really cute like neutral checkerboard. And then I got, oh my gosh, this one is so cute. Hopefully you can see this because it is so bright. But it's got these like neutral little bows on it. Oh, so cute. So cute. And then I got these, a couple over there that we will see in a minute. But everyone's doing pretty good over here, especially with this Scentsy grow light that I have pointed over here. Now, because they do get a lot of light from the south facing window, but these over here don't get as much light. So I really wanted to, because I want these to start maturing and getting like a little bit larger. So I really want to provide them with more light because I've set them up on grow poles. Like they've got new pots. They're looking good, but I feel like they needed more light in order to hopefully start sizing up in the future. My Monstera Thai Constellation is doing really good. This is her newest leaf. She has got really good variegation. She has been browning a little bit, which I've had to cut off. I'm hoping that the improved light over here will kind of help with that. This I actually got at Publix for $60, which is crazy because I also got it like 6 months ago before like prices really started plummeting on these. But I have seen ones that are like twice as big as this one. They're for like $60. So you may want to check. If you have a Publix in your area, kind of like periodically check their plant selection because they do sometimes have some good stuff. My Dragon's Breath Alocasia heterophylla gave me this really beautiful leaf. This one, I cannot remember what this one's called. This is I think it's like one of the, kind of like the Rhaphidophora decursiva, but it's like the variegated version. And I love this one because it's a little bit crusty. Like it's like lumpy. And the texture and the variegation is kind of, I know y'all are thinking this is one of the ones that's like sick looking, but you should be aware by now I'm really into that. These like crusty looking, weird variegated plants. And I just really like the texture. I like how it's like lumpy and crusty, okay? Don't hate on her. And then this is my Monstera Andersonii. This is a relatively new one. And this is the mint variegated version. I had a regular Andersonii a millennia ago, like literally when I first started collecting plants. And it was one of the big baskets from Home Depot that was like $20. And I hated that plant. Like it was just like, it put so many tendrils out and it was like lankety and scraggly and the leaves kept browning, and I tried to grow it every which way and it just never looked good. And I think I was just overwhelmed by the amount of vines that were in that thing. So this one I have climbing up this moss pole now, which it just got put on a moss pole. So this growth is pretty small here, and it does need an extension, but this growth is pretty small in comparison to these. But that is because it has not been on a moss pole until recently. So hopefully these will continue to size up as it goes. The fenestrations on this one already look super good, even though it's kind of like more juvenile. It's got really large, pretty fenestrations. So hopefully we will have a mature Andersonia at some point, because I think those are absolutely gorgeous. This is a Monstera Letriana variegated. This is another one that I would really like to see matured. And then we've got this one right here. So this is these are the two, why can I not think of this name? Syndapsis. These are the two Syndapsis that I got in the Green Escape unboxing. And I decided to not put these two on a pole because I've just been putting a ton of plants on a pole recently. So I'm running out of space. So these two got potted up together. This is the Silver Lady and the Silver Hero, I believe. And they are doing well in there currently. This is a Schismatoglottis Neogenesis, I believe is how you pronounce that. I absolutely adore Schismatoglottis. After I got that one that I have set up in my living room that I showed you previously, like, I'm just totally in love with them. Their growth pattern, like how easy they are to care for, at least they have been for me, like in my experience. And I really liked this like splotchy pattern on these leaves. So love her. My Alocasia Frydek, which has finally, which one's her newest leaf? I think it's this one. Finally gave me a decent leaf. Like, I was struggling with this one so much. I had it previously in my window over here, and it just did not like it over there. So I moved it over here, and honestly, it was getting less light until now when I put these Sansi grow lights over here. So hopefully she won't start like getting upset again. But I think she liked like a little bit of a lower light. Like, she didn't like being straight up in that window, even though she gets a lot of light. I don't know. She seems to be doing better here. That's all I can say. This is my Philodendron Caramel Marble. It is very bright over here. Let me see if I can fix that. Okay, that's a little better. So this is my Philodendron Caramel Marble. She is doing really well, putting out a new leaf that is currently pink, so we can't see the variegation on it. But yeah, I really love this one. The variegation just looks really good. My Philodendron bipennifolium, which is still putting out these little tiny leaves. I don't know what her dealio is. Like, she was putting out pretty decent sized leaves, and then I put her on a moss pole. Maybe it's because I repotted her. She's like getting reestablished. I mean, the variegation looks great, but they're just so little. Like, I really want this again. And then of course we all know this one because I won't stop talking about it. This is my Syndapsis Jade Aurea variegated, and she is absolutely gorgeous. That new leaf is getting much larger and beautiful. And then this one, so this is my Syngonium Chiapens, and this is one that I repotted in a plant chores video because I had propagated this one. I cut her up because she was giving me a bunch of all green leaves, and obviously like we want this variegation, not all green leaves. So I did propagate her, and I put two of the cuttings, these two, which you can see both have little growth points coming out in there. And so those started growing, and then this one also branched off into two. So we've got this vine and this vine. So I was anticipating having 3 vines on this pole, but we now have 4. So we're going to see what happens. And fortunately, this one is all green again. So this one I may just cut that one off, but this one does have some variegation on it. So that is good. That's better. That's a positive outcome. And then up here we've got my Homolamina, which what I believe is a Homolamina SP Java. I bought this as a Homolamina Schismatoglottis, so yeah. But I've looked up photos and I think it is the SP Java, which was very lucky for me because I did not pay very much for it. And she is looking really good, pushing out a new leaf, and I just repotted her. And then what do we have going on down here? Anything noteworthy? We have my Epipremnum pinnatum albo variegated, which I just talked about in my favorites video. And then we have got this guy, which is my Monstera Stanleyana Aurea, who is still showing out. Like, this variegation is just to die for. It really is. And she gave me so many issues to begin with, so this is really surprising that she's popping off so much. Of course, we have this guy, which is one of my all-time favorite plants. This is a xanthosoma. I can't remember the name, but it's called Frozen Planet. Some kind of xanthosoma. And it is just so beautiful. These leaves are getting so big and pillowy, and they feel so nice. Like, the texture is really nice. That's her newest leaf. And she was on death's doorstep when I got her, so it is a miracle that she lived. I'm so happy. This is a Spathiphyllum sensation, I believe, which is a variegated peace lily. I really like this one. It has kind of like the more broad paddle-like leaves over a standard peace lily. And then I also got, this is a more recent one. This is a, let me move this one. This is the, I bought this as a domino, but I think this is actually like the mutant variegated whatever peace lily. I'll put the name on the screen. I can't remember what it's called, but it looks really cool. It has these like super weird variegated leaves. That's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, with it putting out new leaves. And then over here, you're not going to be able to see very much because of the backlight, but there's really not a lot going on over here. I have this pot of dirt, which is my Amorphophallus, which is like a corpse flower, and I didn't think it was doing anything, so I took it out of the pot, and it turns out it is putting out some roots, so maybe we will see that before too long. We have a couple of my like Discoria caudex plants. This is a variegated devil's backbone, which I grew from a propagation, and she's looking really cute. Like, she's really pretty. Yeah, it grows in this really cool zigzag pattern. So yeah, I'm gonna break that up and stick it back in the pot eventually so it's a little bit fuller. This is another schismatoglottis. This one is Hyanesis. Can you see that? Yeah, that's a crazy name, but this one is absolutely gorgeous. She was kind of like beat up when I got her, but she is perked right up being over here in the south-facing window, and I'm just keeping her really well watered because, as I said, schismatoglottis really like to be watered all the time. And then over here, not a lot going on. Oh, my Monstera albo. Oh my gosh, I'm going to move this too, and this is 1,000,000 pounds, so y'all just bear with me with this lighting. But it's finally started growing again. So we have, this is a new leaf, this is a new leaf, this is a new, well, that one's not a new leaf, but it does have one over there. So I have like 5 Monstera albo Borsigiana, which is the small form cuttings. Oh yeah, she gave me this all white leaf too, which is unfortunate, in this pot, and she was not growing forever because I had her like further back with less light. That she's getting a ton of light now, and she started growing again, so that is awesome. My Philodendron radiatum gave me this absolutely gorgeous new leaf. Let me change the, so we can see, like, wow, look at that variegation. That is absolutely gorgeous. This is another plant that I just cannot wait when it gets mature and it gets those really deep, like, what do you call these, fenestrations? I don't know. But those really deep cuts into the side of it, and kind of like the frond-like look. It's gonna be so beautiful. We have my pink princess, which is giving me grief again. She was doing so well. Like, I was so happy because, as a lot of us have been scammed by the pink princess and personally victimized by their crappy growth habits, I finally, after like literally, like, I'm not exaggerating here, I've had like 6 of these. I finally got one that started doing well. Like, you can see this coloration. Wow, 10 of 10. 10 of 10. Look at that, like how dark it is, and the pink. And then this leaf, oh my gosh, wow. Wow. And then we have this little plant over here, which this one's still doing okay. This was like an offshoot. So yeah, hers, like, that leaf is really pretty, but she's doing pretty good. She's just a baby. But look, she started doing, and then we had that leaf. That was a pretty good one too. But what is this? Like, why? Why are you doing this? And this one, variegation is great, but again, these crispy tips, like, what is your deal? Nothing, like, she is never happy for very long. You'll get a few good leaves, and then she's going to start crisping up again. Like, I don't know what her problem is with me, but we'll see. I moved her over here, like, further in front of the window, so maybe she'll start doing a little better. And then this is my Monstera. I think this is a Borsigiana too, like the small form. And this is my Aurea. She gave me this leaf recently, which has sized up. We still don't have fenestrations, but that's okay. She is getting bigger, and it's got some really nice. These have the Polaroid variegation, so it's not super noticeable right now. But you can see this is kind of like a half moon. So this is the lighter side and the darker side, and we have some variegation there. So that one's going to be really beautiful. And then we've got, this is my philodendron nuclear. Philodendron green nuclear something. This is another Publix find. And there are 2 plants in here. I really like this one because these leaves have been super variegated coming out, but when they come out, you can kind of see on the back of that one just a little bit. They're like hot pink on the back, like especially where the variegation is. It's really funny. And this is my Monstera cereana, who has given me another new leaf. Like this one just unfurled, and it keeps like going back and forth. Like this one had 1 fenestration, this one has 2, and then this one's back to 1. And I really love this plant. I think I actually prefer this one over the Burl Marks Flame. This is another one that's like really beautiful. It's kind of got those like Burl Marks Flame-esque type leaves, but the fenestrations are a little bit different when they get mature. But I do really like this one a lot. And then we're into this area. So we've got some of my moss pole plants up here. We've got my staghorn ferns, which are doing well, hanging up there. These are just a couple of crawling philodendron, like a Plowmonii, and I think that's a Dean McDowell, if I remember correctly. And then, so I've moved this anthurium over here because it's just getting so big. We have my philodendron painted lady, which is a more common philodendron, but she's looking so beautiful right here. Like she does get a lot of light, and I feel like that's why her variegation is looking pretty good. And her leaves are not getting super big. My idea, she really needs some support. But my idea is to kind of let her, now that this wall is empty, kind of let her climb up that wall eventually once these vines get a little bit longer. And this is the anthurium that I have unboxed this on one of my previous unboxings. And she's doing pretty good. She actually put out an inflow, which I broke off because I want her to put out more leaves. And we do have the start of a new leaf coming out there now. So she's really beautiful. She's a Magnificum Forgetii hybrid. See the leaves a little bit better there. And her emergent leaves, when they come out, are like burning fire red. So that'll be fun. I'll definitely update you on that one when that emergent leaf comes out. We have got my Anthurium pallidiflorum up here, which, yes, that is tape on the back of the leaf because I broke that off. This was her most recent leaf, which looks really good. And she is putting out a new leaf now right there, if you see that. So hopefully that one will be a little bit bigger. And then this is some kind of, I think this was like sold as it's like a tricolor Epiprimnum pinnatum. It looks kind of like Gesnea to me. So who knows? My Philodendron Majestic. She gave me this really good leaf. And then all of her following leaves were much smaller, and she was not rooting into the pole whatsoever. So I don't know what her deal was, but I just cut her back to the last point where she was rooted into the pole. And now we've got 2 growth points on her. So hopefully she will be a little bit happier. Sorry, y'all, I keep moving around because this camera strap's like running down my arm. But hopefully once she starts rooting into that pole, fingers crossed, those leaves will size up a little bit. This is another one of my recent obsessions. So this is a Rapidophora. I can't remember the exact species. I will put it on the screen. But this is the variegated version. Like, I don't know if you can see because of the light. That variegation is just so beautiful. And her growth pattern, especially when they start getting bigger and fenestrating, is just absolutely gorgeous. And this is my Philodendron Splendid, who may be getting a little bit bleached from this new grow light. But she is growing much faster. Like, she just put out 2 new leaves up there at the very top. And then I moved my Philodendron Domesticum over here because it is just so big. And we are getting some growth points from where I chopped it at the top, but they are not super variegated. So we're going to have to see what happens with that and if I'm going to have to cut it back again. Everyone up here is doing good. So we have my Silver Band Maranta, which is doing fine. This is a Hoya Pubicalix Purple Royal Hawaiian, whatever, Philodendron Micans, who is trailing quite a lot back there. And then I've got a lot of my like baby alocasias down here. We've got the Watsoniana, It's supposed to be dark form. This is a golden bone. This is my cuprea, which is putting out, I don't know if you can see the spike back there, but that is like going to be the biggest leaf, I think, because that spike is just absolutely huge. And then an alocasia platinum back there, which is still very tiny, and a couple of my remaining begonias. My begonias have just started giving me so much hassle, and it could be any number of things. Like, I've probably not been paying the most attention to them because I've just been more focused on like my anthurium and Hoya and stuff like that, and I've lost a little bit of interest in my begonias, I'm not gonna lie. And that is just because, like, when you have so many plants, you can only focus on so much at once, you know. But I do still have a couple of my begonias. My begonia caravan is stressing me out a little bit because she's looking a little wilty. I'm thinking I probably need to repot her because she's in that really tiny pot. But this is one of the ones that I really like still love. Her leaves, when they come out, are such like a fuzzy, velvety softness. And then this is my begonia looking glass, which is very silvery and beautiful. So they are still hanging out. This is I want to say Camphoria. But it's like, if I remember the name correctly, it's like a pseudo Camphoria or something. And this one I love so much. Like, its leaves are so velvety. It's like a velvety suede, and like that spotty variegation around the corners, the deep green vein in the middle, just absolutely gorgeous. This is like a relatively new one too, so we're still kind of seeing how she's going to end up acclimating. And then we've got some of my larger anthurium that I have moved over here. This is I just talked about this one in my favorites video too, my Anthurium Liberty, which is dark phoenix crossed with what was said to be a darkest Panama, which for some reason I thought was a different thing, but it's actually a BVEP, which I think, if I remember reading correctly, it's reclassed to Antilochii. Yeah, so anthuriums can be a little convoluted, like the naming and all that, but this is one of my all-time favorite plants too. Like, just absolutely gorgeous. That veination, the green to orange, the dark pillowy leaves, like 10 of 10, beautiful. This is my wide sinus Bessier AFF that I almost lost to root rot, and I recently repot because she grew her roots back in some sphagnum moss and perlite, so she started doing better. We repot her, and we are seeing some roots starting to develop. So that is just such a weight off my chest because I was so stressed out about this one. I did actually cut the chonk up, and I have 2 little babies that are sprouting too as my like backups. This is an Anthurium David Portilla Dreams, and this is obviously some kind of luxurians cross. I do not know what it is crossed with. This is my Magnificum Silver, gorge. This is a Tim Anderson Cinnamon Girl crossed with Tim Anderson Black. This one's really pretty. When the emergents come out, they are that kind of like cinnamony color. And it's got a pink sinus, and it's kind of long. Like, this is his most recent leaf. It's gotten quite long, which is attractive. And then we have got some more anthurium over here. We have got my Regal, which very on brand. It's giving me nothing but issues. I have moved this everywhere in my house and is not happy with anything. That's this last leaf, which looked way better. This one looked absolutely perfect when it was coming out, and then it just, yeah, that is what it turned into. This one is Anthurium. This is a new one too. This is Anthurium. I can't remember what its name is. I'll put its name on the screen. And honestly, like, she was in the mail for a week, so she was not like super happy when I got her. But she's absolutely gorgeous, and I feel like she's doing okay. Like, she's kind of perked up a little bit, so we will hope for the best. This is one that's giving me issues. This is a Dresslery crossed with a blue papillominum, and she's just not, I don't know what's going on with her. I may have to check the roots on that one before too long. This is a Flavonaudiatum AFF narrow form. This is an anthurium that my boyfriend got me for my birthday, and this is one of my favorites just because it's very unique. Like, it's almost got an anthurium, what's the one that I'm thinking of, the king and the Veitchii, which I don't really like Veitchii, but I do like the kind of like ab look on this one and the lobes and how narrow it is. But yeah, I just thought this one was like very unique. This is her most recent leaf, and she has like a very pink sinus and venation going down. This is a Colombian no ID crossed with a red crystallinum. And this one is so gorgeous. Like, it's so dark and like leathery. I can't talk today. But this was its newest leaf, and it did not turn out nearly as dark. So, I don't know. This is my red papillium crossed with a forgetii. And this one was a rehab plant when I got it. But it did finally start growing. It's normally, like, when they come out, it's very red in the sinus. Like, this is the most recent leaf over here, and you can, maybe not, I don't know if I can even show this. But the sinus is quite red when they first come out. I don't think there's really anything else to note over there. I do have some of my syndapsis on moss poles right now. Can't remember what these are. I think that's a halomoon. This is a frosted tricolor, the little one. That is syndapsis green veins on the end. These are still pretty juvenile. Like, they are just getting rooted into this moss pole. This one, I cannot remember what this one is. But it's got such a nice, like, minty variegation over here. Really beautiful. Really beautiful. Gosh, I really cannot talk today. And then we got a little window shelf over here. My peperomia that are giving me issues, my philodendron Jose Bueno, which is a starter plug that had root rot. I'm seeing if it'll come back. Next to that is my philodendron snowdrift that I found at Kroger for $8. I also talked about that one in my favorites video. I've got a variegated anthurium pterodactyl right here, which is really pretty, but she also had root rot when I got her, and she's browning a lot. I had to regrow her roots in some moss and perlite, and I just potted her up as well. And then we've got a lot of anthurium over here, so I'm not going to go over every single one of these, obviously, because we would be here for a year and a half. But just a few of my favorites. Like, I have some of the ones that I really like right here on this top shelf. This one is RLFS crossed with a Carla. And let me turn this humidifier off because I cannot see. But yeah, wow, that venation is absolutely spectacular. So beautiful. And then this one is also RLFS crossed with Carla, crossed with Ace of Spades. It's kind of similar looking with the venation and the long leaves. This one, who are you? This one is a papillium crossed with a crystallinum, crossed with RLFS, which is Ralph Linum Fort Sherman. I really love this one. This one has some kind of like weird, like fungal issue that I had to clear up because I had this like fuzzy substance on the leaves, which I just washed off and kind of like disinfected, and seems to be doing okay. It has minimal damage there on this is its newest leaf. But again, the venation is just really pretty, long leaves. This one's not doing the best. This is a Dresslery, no, it's a Cunha crossed with a Carla, which I think they're known to be a little bit more difficult. So I don't know. She is crisping a little bit. These were the leaves that she came with, and she's not giving me a new one, so it could just be like acclimation issues. And she does have a little bit of like what looks to be like a widening of this, like her petiole right there, which normally signifies a new leaf coming out. So hopefully that'll happen. This is an Ace of Spades crossed with Luxurians. Not much to see. It just looks like a Luxurians. A lot of Luxurians crosses, like, they just look like Luxurians. Like, I'm trying to see. Oh, no, that's not helping. Okay, I guess this is the brightness that we're going with. This is my Anthurium Dock Block Michelle, which died all the way back to the chonk, and she sprouted several growth points, but she's just been putting out these little baby leaves, and I don't see any roots in here, so I'm just going to leave her in there for a while. I have a couple of like little baby seedlings back there. This is one that I just repotted. This is a Carla crossed with a Bevet, maybe? Yeah, Antilochii crossed with Carla. She's really cute. She's having some root problems, so I just repotted her as well. And then, let's see, who do we have here? This is an Ace of Spades crossed with a papillium, a blue papillium. I mean, it does have like quite a bit of that blue in the leaves, which you can kind of see. She's been a little finicky too since I've gotten her. This is a hybrid from Rousseau Plants. And I got this one and then this little guy over here from him when he had a restock. Not much to, some kind of Carla crosses, like Carla crossed with something and then crossed together. So I don't really know. This one, I don't know where the tag is for this one. This is some kind of like papillium cross. Just liked it because it was like the veining was so minimal and the leaves are so long. This is a Carla District crossed with RA8, which I got from Rooted Rarities on Etsy, but was originally purchased from Buzz Plants. So he's got a lot of really beautiful Carla crosses, and this is no exception. She is lovely. And then a lot of just like other seedlings over there. This is a crystallinum, red crystallinum. And then this is, I can't remember what this is. This is a cross from Steve's Leaves, which is really pretty. And then we'll just move on to this over here because I just have like some, like I said, some more seedlings and stuff down there. This is my Anthurium viridifolium, which just put out another new leaf, which is incredibly variegated and gorgeous. Like she's doing it so well. This is one of the cuts that I made from that Wide Sinus Bessier AFF that I thought was going to die from root rot. And it has sprouted. It did have a little bit of acclimation stress from this like domed cup situation going to just like an ambient. So she is crusting up a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be affecting her health overall. And I do think that she will be putting out a new leaf before too long. So this is my Anthurium warquianum that has given me nothing but issues and decided to put out this leaf with sport variegation once I put her in this cup. So I don't know. She's right here over the humidifier. Like the humidifier is right here. She's getting way more humidity than anyone else. And we'll see. She'll still probably like crust up. This is my Anthurium metallicum, which is down to one leaf and looks like it will be putting out a new leaf, but it has looked like that for months. So who knows? This is just a Bessier AFF cross, which looks pretty good. Down here, we've got a bunch of my variegated Alocasia. My variegated Sinuata just put out this really beautiful new leaf, which this variegation is really subtle. It's hard to show on camera. I don't think you'll really be able to see it very much. We have a new leaf on my variegated Dragon Scale coming out right there. What was her last leaf? I think this was the most recent leaf. So she's doing really well. My Alocasia Poly, this is the pink variegated, although it does kind of fade to this white. And I'm still not doing good enough with watering these. Like, I really need to get on top of that. But she doesn't need to be repot because she's still in this really small pot, but she doesn't have any roots that are showing up. So I just feel like, I don't need to be repot her yet. This is my Bambino variegated that keeps giving me these all white/pink leaves. So yeah, that's great. Some Anthurium seedlings. And then I've got a couple more variegated bird's nest Anthurium back there. This is, I can't remember what this is. Oh, Gregory Hombali Medinilla. And she definitely does not like growing inside. She's trying to put out new leaves, but they just die off. So I've been moving her around trying to figure out a place where she'll actually be happy. This is my Anthurium Dark Phoenix. I really like this one because it's kind of, I don't know if it was just like bleached when I got it, but it has this kind of like golden tone to it, which I think is really pretty. This is a No ID Matthew cross with a flat Bessier AFF. I think I've talked about this in one of my favorites videos too. The new leaves come out very, very pink and they're really beautiful. And then let's see, what do we have going on down here? So we have all of my little prop cups. These are like all Anthurium. These are my recently added King of Spades, which had root rot. So I cut him up and put it in there, and hopefully it will eventually start doing a little bit better because that is really stressing me out. This is an Aglaonema Silver Bay, which I potted up with this Golden Bay, which I had a cutting from somewhere. And I really like the Golden Bay because it has that golden veining in it. But this is a really pretty plant. This is a common one that you'll find pretty much everywhere, but I just think it's so beautiful. My Anthurium rabbit ears has decided to come back from the dead. It's giving me this new leaf, which looks really beautiful. Love those lobes. Like, that is so pretty. And I think we'll just go around the other way because I can't walk through here. I've got too much stuff right there. But I do have some stuff hanging up here. These are all doing really well. This is a dogtail cactus. That is a Hoya Bertoniae. I've got my little variegated ficus right there in the middle. This is a Ascananthus. Is it? No, it's not. What is that? Paulownia repens is what that is. We'll look at that. Let me walk around. Now, I've been doing better with watering this one. This is another one that tends to be pretty thirsty. But this one is so pretty. Like, its leaves are so thick and leathery. And it has been crisping up a little bit because I was underwatering it. But I'm trying to get on top of that again now. And she's looking much better on those leaves that have not already kind of like crisped up a little bit. This is my Dieffenbachia Big Ben. This is such an underrated plant. It's so gorgeous. I don't see a ton of people talking about this one, but these leaves are just like, they're huge. They're so big, and the variegation is just so beautiful. It's got that new leaf coming out. I'm very curious about what that will look like. And it does have this kind of like offshoot growing right here. So that's the newest leaf from its offshoot. And I had it kind of sitting in the floor, but I moved it up here in this window, hoping that it would get a little bit more light and the variegation would continue to be really good. Like, I'm scared of losing that variegation. And this is my Anthurium Queen of Hearts, which I also talked about in my favorites video recently. Like, oh my gosh, look at that. Like, leathery, dark plum. So gorgeous. And this one stays dark for so long. Like, literally, I said that last, like, her old leaf right here stayed that dark for 7 months, and it's still just as dark. So you get, if you like really dark Anthurium leaves, like, these will stay dark forever for you. This is a Homolamina Pink Diamond, and she's doing pretty well. I know it's kind of weird, but I put her on this moss pole because she had these aerial roots that were like sticking out all over the place. So I was like, you know, we'll see what happens. I needed to repot her anyways. But yeah, she's really beautiful. Like, those new leaves look really nice. And then we've got, this is my little like mini pink area. So we've got the pink diamond. We've got this right here. This is an Anthurium Selby Silver. And you can see this is a new leaf, so they come out really pink. And this one's been giving me so many issues. I moved it from my Anthurium shelf over here because it just was not growing. Like, its roots look incredible, but it is not putting out any new leaves. And when they come out, they're all kind of like deformed. So we'll see. Just like, maybe she'll like it better over here. This is my Syngonium Milk Confetti, which I got recently when I went to Pikes and filmed that plant shopping video at Pikes, and she's really beautiful. Very full, and she seems to be doing pretty well. And then we've got my little Homolamina, I think this is Homolamina Selby and not Camouflage, if I remember correctly. This is another one that I've been underwatering a lot, so I need to really like keep on track of that. My Philodendron Soderoy, which is driving me freaking nuts. My Florida Beauty, which I thought had totally reverted, but this new leaf does have a little bit of variegation on it. And I put these Sand Sea Lights over here also, so hopefully we've got a new leaf that's about to come out, so hopefully it'll be more variegated. We've got my Philodendron Ring of Fire, which has finally started growing again. I don't know, this is the one that was kind of like mutant, and it had all those growth points, but the growth points still have not done anything, so I don't really know. I don't know. Maybe eventually they will. What else do we got? Oh yeah, we have my Philodendron Giganteum Blizzard, which, since I have moved over here, has given me this beautifully variegated leaf. Like, its previous leaves were not the most variegated. So I think it likes the light over there, and this new leaf looks pretty variegated too, so that's looking pretty good. We've got some Hoyas up here that are also doing well. Crimson Queen, Crimson Princess, and Lacunosa Snowcaps, I believe, which had mealybugs. Unfortunately, like, when I got it, I saw a mealybug on it, so I treated it for mealybugs. And then I was over here, this is kind of a funny story. I was over here one day and I was like checking on this one, and it had a mealybug on the leaf, just like one singular mealybug. And I was like, what the heck? Because I've never really had issues with mealybugs, which is very fortunate. But it was just like really surprising. And I like checked all over the plant, all over the other leaves. I checked because I have Hoya right here and mealybugs love Hoya. No mealybugs anywhere. And then I was like, what the heck could this have come from? And then I just like slowly looked up, and this guy had mealybugs all over it. So I did a very intense treatment where I literally like just soaked it in some rubbing alcohol and pesticide and Castile soap, and it definitely damaged the leaves. Like I have a lot of leaves that have this kind of like where it killed, I'm assuming it like killed the cells in them, but like we're just gonna have to go with that because it was infested with mealybugs, and it looked really good after that. Like the leaves are damaged, but I do not see any other mealybugs, and the leaves that are still on here do feel okay. Like they're not declining, it seems. So we'll see. I do have hopes that that will bounce back. And I even checked, like it's right here with these plants, and I checked all of them for mealybugs and no mealybugs. So thank God it was only on that one, because that would have been a nightmare. So yeah, they are looking pretty cute over there. I do really like the way that this area looks with like the little splash of pink and then the big bin and everything. I think it's really cute. And then we have got my Hoya shelf. So this will be kind of like the last area that we're going to go over in this video. I do have up here my Alocasia longiloba, which has finally started growing again. You can see she has got a new leaf right there. But it has been frolled up for a really long time. And honestly, this grow light is another one of the cheap ones. I may need to replace that also so they get some more light. But my Alocasia mellow, I think that's what that smaller one is. She seems to be fine. I've got this little like silvery, if you can see that, silvery Syndapsis that was labeled as a pothos that I got for $10. And she has come back 1,000%. Like she looked terrible when I got her. And then I've got another Maranta up here, lemon lime, which is doing really well. Like if you can see, she's really full, kind of like stretched out all over the place. And then we got my Hoya. So this is, I did set up this Hoya shelf in a previous video that I will link in the description box if you kind of want to watch me put this together. But we are just going to talk about a couple of updates in Hoya land over here. So Pulchera, I talked about in my favorites video, gave me this really big, beautiful new leaf that is very purpley and sun stressed already. I've got my Hoya Matrata right here that has shot out this really long vine, and she is looking really good. I really love this Hoya. Like I've talked about how the Matrata Silver or the Buntock Silver is like one of my all-time really high wish list plants because I just love this one so much. I think she's so beautiful. And then what else do we have going on back here? Oh, we've got this Hoya, oh gosh, I keep hitting the button. Y'all disregard that. I've got this Hoya AFF Lambii, which is starting to sun stress under these Barina lights. I don't know if you can see that. She's looking so pretty. She's got some really great splash too, and she's very veiny. My Denisii Frida, which I also talked about in my favorites video. So cute and delicate. This one, I love this one. This is Verda Salata Quang Nagai. And those new leaves are just so beautiful. I've talked about this. I feel like I would talk about like my favorite plants, like my favorite plants all the time. And the other ones, I'm just like, man. Yeah. Oh yeah. And then, so these are the updated new leaves on this guy, which is Pachiclata Icensis Splash. And I think this was renamed something else too, but the tag is too far down and I can't read it. So yeah, she is looking really gorgeous. Like the splash, incredible. Absolutely incredible. Love her. This is one that I really like. What are you? This is, I don't know how to say this. I thought it was Ace. ACEH. You can't see that. Let me pull this out. What's your problem, camera? Okay. ACEH. Like, I think that's the grower. I thought it was Ace, but I think I've heard people say Ace, Ake. I don't know. But this is the Bogar, and I got this from Steve's Leaves, and this one is just a divine, crusty, veiny Hoya. So cool. And its leaves are like so rigid. It's really nice. Love that one. It gave me this new leaf, which is like much more conventionally attractive, which I don't really like as much. So hopefully like eventually we'll get back to this. We've got my Hoya undulata, which gave me this new leaf. This is another really nice crusty leaf. Right here I've got just some cuttings that I need to pot up eventually. This is a Hoya Germany, I believe. And then I can't remember what those two are. This is another one that I got from Steve's Leaves, which I potted back up recently, and I don't know how it's gonna do. Palawanica IML 1605 is what I have this labeled as, and it does seem kind of like not very plump and firm. So I really hope I don't lose this one because I really loved this plant. So we'll give it a little bit longer and see if anything comes from that. And then we have got Coracia Silver here, which gave me this really big new leaf, but it hasn't done anything since then. And then this piece kind of like just browned off. So I don't know. I repot a lot of these recently because they were, like I said, they were in their little starter, like tiny cups that I had originally purchased them in. And like they were long overdue for a repot, honestly. But I just kind of like, I've been trying to like cross off a lot of stuff from my to-do list. So I went ahead and repotted some of these. Let's see what's going on in these cabinets. So this is gonna be kind of hard to show you because I have to hold this up, but I do have a couple that I want to talk about. This is a really cool one. This is another ACEH Ace Ake, and this is Gomaz, and it's got that really cool dark vein on the bottom of it, kind of veiny and a little bit of splashy. What else is going on? This is my Archibaldiana Albo Marginata, and it's put out this really long runner, but no new leaves yet. So it probably needs to be trellised, honestly. This one, I can't remember what this one is, but it's got these really beautiful, like that is a huge leaf. Gorgeous. And then, yeah, I don't think there's really anything else like exciting going on in there. This one right here, we have got my Gray Ghost, which is putting out a lot of growth over here. We have got my Gunyan Gating, which gave me this nice new leaf after not doing anything for a million years. And then, what else do we have? My New Guinea Ghost, which I thought was dead, which randomly gave me this new leaf, so I guess it is not dead. My Carnosa Nova Ghost, which is looking really good, very silvery. And honestly, I feel like there's not really that much else going on in there. Maybe I'll do like a more updated, kind of like in-depth Hoya video at some point. It would take forever to go through all of these, honestly. So that is what is up in there. All right, y'all, hopefully you enjoyed that little walkthrough. I had to like physically stop myself from talking too in depth about every single plant because I feel like when I'm like walking through an area and I'm like, look at these plants, I feel like I really need to like give y'all the whole historical backstory analysis of every single plant. And like in my head, I'm like, we are not trying to do a video that's 7 hours long this time, because literally that entire houseplant walkthrough that, again, I will link in the description, was like over 2 hours long. So I'm like, we are not trying to do that today. Like we have got stuff to do. And one of those things that I have got to do today is to film my staghorn mounting video. Yeah. So you will see me probably in this same shirt in my next video, which will be about mounting those staghorn ferns that I unboxed in my last Etsy unboxing, which I will also link in the description if you are interested in that. And we are going to get those things mounted today because I really want to get them hung up. Like I keep looking at this blank spot on my wall where I'm like reserving the space for them. And they've been sitting in my bathroom since that unboxing. So I really need to do something with them before too long so they can get acclimated to their new space up here on my wall. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate all of y'all. And if you like this video and you want to see more content like this from me, please like, please subscribe. It means so much to me. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.